A new study reveals 260 million Americans are expected to be obese by 2050.
Combating this disturbing trend is one of RFK Jr.'s top priority in his Make America Healthy Again agenda. I spoke with the Health and Human Services Secretary nominee in August about the impact of ultra-processed foods. Watch.
In Europe, the same companies are producing the same products, but they're using natural coloring. But here they can get away with it. We have about almost 1,000 chemicals that are in our food that are either outright banned in Europe or actively discouraged. We subsidize the worst foods. We subsidize it with about 70% of our food stamp program is to processed foods, which are all poison.
So here to discuss is Fox News medical contributor, Dr. Nicole Saphier. Great to see you. Good morning, Dr. Saphier.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Guys, can you mention on that clip, when I saw RFK before and after and even since, he cannot believe that segment was aired on TV. Like, he's been trying to talk about these issues. It's so taboo because of the power of big food and over so many companies. And I'm so proud that Fox aired that. And this is what he's fighting. What kind of difference do you think that he could make in this position talking about chronic disease?
Well, first of all, we need the data continue to support some of the arguments that RFK Jr. is trying to be making. And just a big study came out in the last month from Lancet that is estimating by the year 2050, over 80% of Americans are probably going to be obese. 1 in 3 teenagers being obese. I'm not just talking about overweight. I'm talking about obese. Obesity and overweight rates have doubled since 1990. And you see it in different parts of the country, but the reality is Americans are overweight. And it really boils down to several things. The ultra-processed foods in our diet, which, as RFK Jr. likes to point out, are not available elsewhere in the world. It's just here in the United States that we see these so much. The lack of accessibility and affordability of healthy options, and the fact that people just aren't moving anymore. We are obsessed with our devices. PE has been taken out of schools. We're not focusing on sports and after-school programs. So this has just been a trifecta that has led us into this crisis. And the reality is we like to talk about the opioid crisis, but more people, more Americans are dying from obesity-related illness than opioids.
I mean, play the devil's advocate just a little bit. So, first of all, I'm on board with this as I try to live my life more healthy, but I indulge in junk food. Do you do this by banning a bunch of stuff, or do you do it by making it more transparent and hoping that Americans make those choices for themselves? Because I can remember it wasn't that long ago that the Big Gulp got banned here in New York, and I think it was mostly conservatives that were upset about that.
Listen, this is not going to be an easy fix. It is much more complicated than just telling people eat healthier and do a little bit more exercise. We started this conversation in 2019, 2020 with my book, Make America Healthy Again. But you know what happened right after that book came out? COVID. And so all of a sudden, all of the conversations about being healthier just got pushed to the wayside. But what did we see with COVID? We saw people who are overweight did much worse when it came to COVID-19. So it's going to start from, it actually starts in pregnancy. And Rachel, you're going to love this. Women who are pregnant, they need to be educated on healthy eating, healthy weight. Women need to be encouraged to breastfeed.
Yes.
Because mothers that breastfeed have a lower rate of obesity in themselves and also their children. We need to get education on nutrition back into schools. We need to get our kids exercising again. Stop with some of these nonsense classes and get our kids moving. On a local level, you need the states to make sure that the neighborhoods and parks are safe and people have access to outdoor activity. And we also need to get these unhealthy foods out of our supermarkets, not necessarily by banning them, but we need to make sure that people, if we are consuming them, we either need a warning or they need to make them healthier for us. And we need more affordable, healthy options.
Yeah, Joy, I don't think RFK Jr. is going to go checking lock boxes and confiscating the Big Macs from Donald Trump. The point I'm joking about is I don't think it's going to be banning. I think it's going to be transparency, data, education, and stop subsidizing. That's a big one.
That's right.
Stop
Well, the whole SNAP program needs to be completely upended because you go and get your food stamps. The people with the highest rates of obesity are lower income families. These are the people we need to be targeting, and we need to make sure that they have accessibility and affordable, healthy options. Food stamps are promoting these ultra-processed foods.
RFK in that interview said that in Europe, the card that you get if you're poor and you need to have assistance from the government allows you to buy your food at a farmer's market. And what we do here is we give ultra processed foods to people, or we allow them to purchase.
Well, it's the cheapest. It's the cheapest caloric.
Exactly, because we're subsidizing.
cheapest
It also
caloric
lasts. So
hit.
let's also say it's not people trying to make bad decisions, but this is what they need to do because this is what they can afford, and they know if it sits in their pantry, it's not going to go bad. If you go and buy fresh food, it goes bad. So people are trying not to be wasteful.
Right.
So we need to really work in this population.
How about we subsidize healthy, fresh food and also get to the bottom? By the way, his department has to work with the ag department because a lot of stuff is happening at the seed level.
Well, and the people who can afford it, they're taking their weight loss medications right now in forms of injections. The people who
Which is
can't afford
unhealthy.
it, who have higher rates of obesity, it's going to continue to be worse.
Dr.
Yeah,
Sapphire, it's
tough.
great to talk to you this morning.
Thanks for having me,
Thanks for bringing
guys.
it.
Thank you. All right, House Democrats reportedly tired of former Speaker Nancy Pelosi as the party looks to rebrand. She's got to go. We'll ask the former Democratic congressman about the growing division next.